History often remembers kings who conquered and generals who won great battles. But sometimes, the greatest courage came from someone history expected to remain silent. She was born into poverty, sold as a child, celebrated as one of China's greatest courtesans. Yet when an empire collapsed, she stood taller than many ministers and generals. This is the extraordinary story of Liu Rushi, the courtesan who refused to surrender. Liu Rushi was born in 1618, during the final decades of the Ming Dynasty. Her birth name was Yang Ai. Little is known about her parents, except that poverty forced them to sell their daughter while she was still a child. In late imperial China, this was tragically common. Girls from poor families were often sold as servants, adopted into other households, or trained to become entertainers. Young Yang Ai eventually entered the world of elite courtesans. Unlike ordinary prostitutes, high-class courtesans were expected to master poetry, painting, music, calligraphy, and refined conversation. They entertained scholars, officials, and wealthy merchants. The best among them became celebrities. Liu Rushi would become one of the most famous. She adopted the name Liu Rushi. Her beauty quickly became legendary. But it wasn't merely her appearance that captivated people. She wrote elegant poetry. She painted landscapes. She discussed philosophy with leading intellectuals. She even dressed in men's scholar robes on occasion, challenging social expectations with remarkable confidence. Many admired her intellect as much as her beauty. Among the educated elite, she earned genuine respect, something rare for a woman of her profession. Later generations would include her among the celebrated Eight Beauties of Qinhuai, the legendary women who symbolized the culture of southern China during the Ming Dynasty. Yet fame also brought loneliness. Many powerful men admired Liu Rushi. Few saw her as an equal. Everything changed when she met Qian Qianyi. Qian was one of the most respected scholars in China. He was also over 30 years older than Liu Rushi. Their relationship shocked many. A famous scholar marrying a former courtesan violated social expectations. Friends criticized him. Conservative officials mocked him. But Qian ignored them. He admired her intelligence, her poetry, and her courage. Their marriage became one of the most famous literary partnerships in Chinese history. Together, they hosted gatherings of poets and artists. They exchanged poems. They discussed politics and philosophy. For a brief moment, their lives seemed peaceful. But the Ming Dynasty was falling apart. In 1644, rebel armies captured Beijing. The last Ming emperor, the Chongzhen emperor, took his own life on a hill behind the Forbidden City. Soon afterward, the Manchu armies crossed the Great Wall. They founded the Qing Dynasty. Across China, officials faced an impossible choice: resist or surrender. Many chose survival. Others remained loyal to the fallen Ming. The country descended into chaos. Liu Rushi never hid where her loyalty belonged. As Qing forces advanced, Qian Qianyi struggled with the decision. According to later accounts, Liu Rushi urged him to die rather than abandon the Ming cause. One famous story claims she prepared to drown herself alongside him. But Qian hesitated. Eventually, he surrendered to the Qing government and accepted an official position. Liu Rushi was devastated. She never accepted the new dynasty with the same willingness. Instead, she quietly supported Ming loyalists who continued resisting Qing rule. She used her wealth, her influence, and her personal connections to help those who refused to surrender. Whether through financial assistance, secret correspondence, or shelter, she remained committed to the lost dynasty. Her resistance was not fought with swords. It was fought with loyalty. Time brought tragedy. Political suspicion surrounded former Ming supporters. Many loyalists were executed. Others disappeared. Qian Qianyi eventually retired from public life. When he died in 1664, his family became divided over property and inheritance. Some relatives treated Liu Rushi with hostility. Facing humiliation and legal disputes, she chose a final act of defiance. Rather than submit to those who sought to strip away her dignity, Liu Rushi took her own life. She was only 46 years old. Her death shocked many scholars. Poets mourned her not simply as a beautiful woman, but as a person whose loyalty had remained unbroken until the very end. History often labels Liu Rushi as a courtesan, but that title tells only part of her story. She was a poet, a painter, a scholar, a devoted wife, and, in the eyes of many, one of the last faithful voices of the Ming Dynasty. She possessed no army. She held no government office. She commanded no political power. Yet when an empire collapsed, she demonstrated a kind of courage that many powerful men could not. More than 3 centuries later, Liu Rushi remains one of China's most remarkable women, not because of where she began, but because of what she refused to surrender. So if you enjoyed this story, subscribe to China Untold Stories. Discover the hidden stories of China's emperors, warriors, philosophers, rebels, and extraordinary women who shaped history. One story at a time.